Hello everyone, and welcome on back into the Barretts. Today we're going to be talking about a episode in the documentary series on Netflix called I Am a Killer. And this one is about Kenneth Foster, who was charged with capital murder and sentenced to death row for driving the getaway car when his partner, Mauriceo Brown, got out of the car and went and whatever happened in that time span, shot Michael Lahood. That is what he was sentenced to death row for, and in 10 years after he was sentenced, so he had to wait for 10 years before he got executed, 3 hours before the execution, and after all the entire process of what you do to prepare someone for their execution date, or execution time, 3 hours before the execution time, the governor of Texas decided to take him off death row and instead give him life in prison due to the fact that he had a lot of publicity, a lot of public outrage, and a lot of supporters to get him off the death row. There were so many protests, especially on the day of his killing, and because of that, the governor decided to take him off. The reason why I am talking about this case and not the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary, I will be talking about that eventually, is because this episode really brought a lot into my eyes. When I first started this episode, when I first watched this, never did I expect that someone would have got death row, death penalty, and convicted of murder for driving the getaway car when they didn't even fire the gun. The trial, they didn't really touch much on the trial about this, but I did do a little bit of research behind the trial, and I found something that was quite interesting into why they decided to do a joint trial. So, Mauriceo Brown and Kenneth Foster were jointly tried for the murder of Michael Lahood, while it is a known fact that that Mauriceo Brown did shoot and kill Michael Lahood. Because you are the driver, you get to be tried as well for capital murder. Do I agree with this? In this case, I do not. Because there was no conspiracy to actually kill and murder Michael Lahood. So, the story behind this entire event happening was Kenneth Foster, Mauriceo Brown, and 2 other people were going out, robbing people and stores and whatever they could find in the night, and committing robbery. They did that, I'm not sure how many times they said they did it, but they did it a lot. And it was the end of the night, and they were done at home, and they were, I think, following this car. I don't know if they were planning on robbing this woman or not, but they were following this car, or not following. They said they weren't actually following her, but in a place they were. They were following this car to wherever she was going, and they drove out. She pulled into the driveway of where she was going to, which happened to be, I think it was Michael Lahood's residence. And she got out of the car. She saw them following her, and they pulled up next to her, and she asked him point blank, "Were you following me?" They told her, "No, we weren't following you." Mauriceo Brown very much liked her, and he wanted her number. Told him no, and Michael Lahood was standing on top of the hill. I'm not sure. I think this was his girlfriend at the time. And at the top of the hill, this was told at the end, this was not in the trial. Kenneth Foster said that once she was leaving, she went up to the hill, or to where Michael Lahood was. Michael Lahood flipped him the bird, right? He flipped him off, right? For whatever reason, he flipped him off. And Kenneth Foster turned back to Mauriceo Brown, and he told him, "Man, are you gonna let him do this? You know, as Joe, are you gonna let him fucking flip us the bird and shit? And Mauriceo Brown, being the big tough man he is, got out of the car, and went and shot him. So, the part that interests me the most was that they got the jury and the judge pretty much got him for co-conspiracy, or conspiracy to kill someone. And I can see it right here where they discussed it. Once there was a joint trial, one of the people who were in the car said that they were finishing up the robbery for the night and that there were no plan to stitch him and certainly no not to murder. They weren't enough to murder him. There was even no way they were even rob him to even have a they weren't going to rob him at all. But one of the other people who were involved in this said that when he got out of the car, like, we kind of knew what he was gonna do. He, based off of that witness and that testimony, he pretty much got him for co-conspiracy. They even said it. The raw partners testified it was kind of understood what was probably gonna go down when Mauriceo Brown got out of the car. So, to one of the guys in the car, they kind of figured, oh, we know what's gonna go down. We kind of know what's gonna go down. He was going to attempt to rob him, or he was gonna do something. But in reality, that wasn't it at all. He wasn't really going to rob him. He was trying to, prove he was a tough man to his friends when this guy flipped him the bird. He got mad. He got mad that they flipped him the bird. They flipped him off. It's just like, he's trying to be the big man. He was high. That didn't help either. And because of that, on that basis, and on that grounds, it was to support that he was, to support a capital murder charge, was the basis of conspiracy. They believed Mr. Foster, as the getaway driver in 2 previous robberies, either knew what was about to occur or should have anticipated it. So, because of that, because he should have known what was going to happen, or he should have anticipated he was not going to murder, and because he didn't stop it, they got him for conspiracy. It was, to me, that whole entire thing is just a bunch of bullshit. It really is. I don't think in this case that he should have gone down for a capital murder charge and have gotten the same punishment as Mauriceo Brown. Because you were the co-conspiracy, you're responsible, or because you were the getaway driver, you're responsible for whatever crime, you have the same charge as the person who commits the crime does. And that is understandable. I'm okay with that in certain cases where that is true. But I don't think that the grounds of this is that because they knew because Kenneth knew what he was going to do, or he should have known what he was going to do, that he should have gotten a murder charge. I mean, a murder charge is nothing to laugh at. It is a serious offense, and he has to go the death penalty for this. Now, I really don't think that he should have gotten the death penalty. Should he have gotten charged for the robberies? Of course. Naturally, you should get charged for the robberies. You're the getaway driver. That just comes with the territory. Come on. But death penalty? Murder? I don't agree with this entirety of this case, where because you're the getaway driver and you have to be held responsible for what you're doing. Do I think you should be held responsible for someone else's doing? In this case, no. If they were actually honestly conspiring to murder this guy, all 3 of them, and Kenneth Foster being the driver, no, you should, well, for that part, yes. You should definitely be, co-conspiracy for death and death penalty and all this stuff. I didn't agree with that. But this was a spur-of-the-moment type of murder. I mean, that's what it was. It definitely was not planned. It was not even planned, for him to be robbed. Because in the jury, for the trial, they said that they charged it was a botched robbery. And I don't even think that's the whole point of it, because with Kenneth Foster at the end of it saying, man, are you just not letting him flip us the bird? You know, with Kenneth Foster saying it to Mauriceo Brown, and him doing all pissed, like, you know what, yeah, he fucking flipped us the bird, I'm gonna go deal with him. I don't think when Mauriceo Brown got out of the car at that point in time, did he intend to kill him for firing, for flipping him the bird. No. Something happened on that hill between the two of them in that driveway when they were when Kenneth Foster and everybody in that car was 90 feet away from them. Something went down between the two of them. What went down, we will never know, because both the people who do know are dead. And that's the fact of the matter. The two people who would have known are dead. But do I think it's a botched robbery? No. They weren't even planning on robbing this guy. They weren't. So why could you even get Kenneth Foster for co-conspiracy? It was not intended. And he definitely, there's no way you can get someone for conspiracy on the basis of that. When Mauriceo Brown got out of the car, you should have known what he was going to do or anticipated that he was going to do that. You don't know if someone's going to get out of the car and do whatever. I could be driving a car with a friend of mine, and he or she could be drunk off of their ass, get out of the car, and go beat somebody up. Should I be getting held accountable for that? No. I don't know what the fuck this person's gonna do when they're high or drunk or whatever, and I'm in the car. It's at a wrong time, wrong place type thing, and that's what it was for Kenneth. He didn't know that he was gonna get out of the car and go shoot somebody because they flipped him the bird. Something had to have gone down between the two of them on the hill to where Mauriceo Brown decided he wanted to pull out his gun and shoot him. I don't think he knew what he was gonna do. I don't think any of them in that car knew what he was going to do. Even with the witness testify of the other guy in the car, even with that testimony, he was just, I feel like he was saying that so he could get off his robbery charge. Probably had a deal in there, because I don't really think anybody can predict that he was going to do it. No matter how pissed off the guy seemed, how high he was, however you want to look at it, I don't think that they knew that he was going to do that. And that's why I don't think that Kenneth Foster should be given death row or even be convicted of murder. Because while I do agree in some cases that if you're the getaway driver, you should be committed of the same, or you should be committed the same crime, or charged with the same crime as the person who actually did the crime and be responsible for it, I don't think in this case that Kenneth Foster should have gotten death row and the murder charge, because he didn't really know what was going to happen. Now, the other argument was that, well, he was the one who drove him there. He was the driver. He was the one who drove him there. You know, he should be held responsible for that, right? But you can be driving anybody at any point in time in your life, and they don't commit something stupid that you didn't even know about. I think there's even some robbery cases where people have done that, where people have actually done that, and they didn't know. It's like, oh, stop here, and they okay, it's like, okay, fine, whatever, and the person's out the car, and they go rob a fucking liquor store or something like that, and they said, drive. You know, there have been cases where that is the case, where that as well. I think, in terms of, like, getting somebody for conspiracy, or, you know, having someone be held responsible for the same crime, I think it really does need to depend on case-by-case type of situation. Even with robberies, you know, because someone may be intending to rob something, but you as the driver, you may not know that. You know, same thing for for Kenneth Foster. You know, he was just driving while the robberies was a thing. He was just, they were doing what they were doing. He stopped the car, and just because Mauriceo Brown probably wanted to talk to that girl, whatever they wanted to do, and he dialed, and you can't know what people are gonna do. Is my point. It's just, I think that's why I was so blatant with this case. It's just like, I was so interested in this case because how can you get death row for driving a car and you didn't even commit the murder? And to do more research into it and see that he got it because of co-conspiracy, and that he should know what was going to happen, he should know that this was going to happen or anticipated it, and he was the cause for it and stuff like that. Do I believe that this man actually wanted Mauriceo Brown to kill him? No. Do I think he had a plan for that to happen? No. This case definitely was not planned. That murder was definitely not planned. But to give someone the death penalty for that, it's not right. It's really not right at all. And I think it's the discussion people need to have and the courts needs to have when it comes to getting somebody for conspiring to kill, or even with a getaway car, the getaway driver. It definitely needs to be examined and not just be, well, he was there, he was the driver, he clearly did something there, and he did for the robberies, but not for this one. I don't think for this one. Yes, he drove him away from the murder scene. Yes, that is a bad thing and should definitely be getting jail time for those certain things, but to get jail time and to get death row for this, it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. This entire case really doesn't make sense to me at all in terms of that specific part. Knowing that he is going to kill somebody. How do you know that he's going to go do that? I wouldn't if I was him. If I was in his shoes, I would never have guessed that this guy was going to kill him because he flipped him off. No. That is definitely not it. There's something, and definitely was not about him wanting to rob him. Because why would you send just one person to go rob somebody when you've been sending 2 or 3 the entire night, when you've been robbing other people in other stores? You don't just send one person to go rob someone. That part of the case as well didn't make any sense to me. It's common sense right there. I don't know. This case is interesting. I do plan on doing a lot more of the I Am a Killer cases. There's a few other ones in this season that really piqued my interest. This one was obvious because I just cannot believe someone got sent to death row for driving a car. I really just cannot. It is wild to me, and it's not right, and I think that he should have never gotten this charge to begin with. The robbery charges, driving the getaway from a murder scene, I can get that. Definitely deserve some jail time for that. But death row and life in prison for murder, especially a murder he didn't commit nor knew was going to happen, I don't see that being a good enough reason to commit him for those charges and give him that punishment. I really don't. Even after he was pardoned from death row and given life in prison instead, I still don't think life in prison was right either. I think this show definitely makes you think like a lot of things need to be considered when it comes to case by case in terms of the death penalty. It really does, and this is definitely one of them. I'm not sure if he has any more appeals left, or if he's done all of his appeals, just out of appeals, to get off of life in prison and maybe get the charge dropped for murder. But if he is still doing appeals, I hope he gets the appeal to at least get him out of prison and drop the murder charges. I think he's definitely done the time for the robbery and the getaway. But I think this one, I really hope he hasn't gotten through all his appeals and he still has some, because this needs to be this definitely is not right in my eyes. It's not. He's not a murderer. He didn't co-conspire for the murder to happen. He was definitely not responsible for the murder, in my opinion. And I do hope he gets out of prison, and gets that charge dropped, because it's just not right. It's not. I think the next discussion video we're going to be doing is going to be another one for I'm a Killer. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. There's a couple more I have to think about, but this one I definitely want to make a video for. Because the question really should be, should someone get death row when they didn't even commit the murder? In terms of this case, of course there are some of the cases where that is true and they should, but in terms of like, you didn't know what's going to happen, you didn't plan this, you didn't co-conspire, you didn't conspire to do this, in terms of this, I think that's the question people need to be talking about. Like, does this man deserve death row? In my opinion, I don't. I don't think he even deserves a charge, and I definitely don't think he deserves to be in prison for life. I really don't. So, that's my opinion, though. This is kind of like my thoughts on the case. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing the next, or which case will be the next one that we discuss, but this one was very interesting when I first saw it, and I had to do it. It's just so baffling. It really is. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought about this case in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out all my other social media platforms in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next video again very soon.